Every morning, Suzanne and Tony Piccola know it's going to be a busy day with their co-workers. At least it isn't a commute in traffic, except on farmers market days. Since they gave up metropolitan turf for new ground in Coupland and started their organic farm, they work hard year-round, but their ladder to success is one they strung themselves.
In 1980, we moved from the Dallas-Fort Worth area down to where we are presently in the Austin area because we were tired of city life and wanted a more peaceful, calm existence.
They found it against an uncluttered horizon meeting the Blackland Prairie. To their first 50 acres, they added another 50 as they got into farming.
60 to 80 varieties of vegetables. Anything, we were trying anything to see what would work on this ground, because this ground's not real good for vegetables.
But it's good enough to produce more than they can eat. A friend suggested they sell the surplus at a farmer's market.
The first day we went to the farmer's market on a Saturday, we went there with, $20 or $30 worth of product. And we were so tickled that, people bought everything we had, that it became contagious is what it was.
Mm-hmm.
We just started growing a little more and a little more. And
once you got that feedback from customers and the good feelings that they gave you of how good a job you were doing and how great an effect it was having on their lives, they thought, oh, well, we can do anything.
In the 90s, they decided to expand their market with a greenhouse.
At the time that we were growing outside, very few people did anything during the winter. Everybody just shut down and waited for spring to come. And we were always looking for ways to make money and keep ourselves busy.
Customers soon lined up for out-of-season produce organically homegrown. The Piccolas built another greenhouse and then a third large one devoted to tomatoes.
I think it was 99 or 98, and we decided that we had to go bigger. Because, like the farmer's market deal, it became something that people were anxious to see every winter.
In the smaller houses, they grow various crops and herbs over winter, and in July start the tomato seedlings. The transplants move up into hydrated coconut fiber blocks in 5-gallon bags to be arranged in drip-irrigated rows in the big greenhouse. They produce until the next June, when the Piccolas chop them down, clean up, and solarize the house for a month. By then, their 2,100 plants have produced over 34,000 pounds of tasty, juicy tomatoes. To extend their growing season for maximum output in limited space, the Piccolas train the plants to a central stem clamped to twine looped over the rafters.
They might be a foot tall when we start out, and they'll grow indefinitely. That they grow up on the string, and they'll grow up to the wire, which is 10 foot high, and we constantly let the plants down. So at the end of their life, which is in June, they can be 20 or 30 foot long.
As the plants grow up, the Piccolas lower them and tie them off to keep them away from the scalding roof. Clamps and hooks support the weight of the growing tomatoes. They harvest the lower ones and clip leaves and suckers to make way for the vines coming down. They're ready to harvest at Thanksgiving. The Piccolas sell them and Suzanne's fresh pesto to Wheatsville, Central Market, and Whole Foods. Prepared specialties and homemade bread join seasonal produce at the weekly South Austin Farmers Market and the Austin Farmers Market May through June. They also sell Tony's organic fertilizer mixture. They've been organic since the beginning.
We just didn't like the idea of adding chemicals to the ground, to the plants, and then essentially to our bodies. So we just felt for our own health we would go organic. And actually at the time the word organic really wasn't in our thought process, it was just non-chemical.
They've never used pesticides, and in a greenhouse are especially vigilant with natural controls.
This is an ideal environment for pest populations to go out of bounds real quickly.
Since they do it all themselves, it doesn't mean much time off. Still, they've never doubted, well, rarely, the other route they could have taken.
I love being out in the country. I love being out where I can scream if I have to where I don't have somebody at my back gate 24/7.
Usually it's just wildlife at their back gates, including cats abandoned by their owners who find refuge in a new home with the Piccolas. It's also the chance to live by what they believe.
It's a feeling of independence more than anything. That, and I've thought if it ever came down that I had to get a job somewhere, I would probably roll over and die, because I don't know that I could work for anybody else. You know, having done this for, well, I guess 30 years by now, you know, being on my own, it would be difficult to be in an office and to have a boss, you know, have you told what to do every day. But, you know, we just enjoy it.